What's up? It's the Beast Bailey, and today, bringing you guys my top 10 playoff poll. Yes, the Beast Bailey poll. The only poll that makes sense. Let's get into it. So right now, currently, the playoff poll says you got Tennessee 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Clemson 4, 5, Michigan, 6, Alabama, 7, TCU, 8, Oregon, 9, USC, and number 10, LSU. And I'm also going to go 11 through 15 for you. 11 Ole Miss, 12 UCLA, 13 Kansas State, 14 Utah, 15 Penn State. As your current top 15 in the playoff poll. So pretty much right now, I think USC is the only top 10 team still playing. USC currently up 27-7 on California. So, yeah. They're currently up. So I'm gonna give you guys my top 10. Right now, I'm gonna give you guys my 15 through 11. There's no teams that are currently 11 through 15 that I'm putting in the top 10. So Ole Miss at 11. They come on a bye week. They're 8-1. Their only loss to LSU. I don't see any reason to move them. The teams behind them, UCLA 12, Utah 13th, 14 Penn State, and 15 North Carolina. North Carolina coming off a win today. North Carolina sitting at 8-1. And really, in my video I posted earlier about Alabama and Clemson losing, I said I don't know if there's a team beyond the top 10 that could really make the playoff, truthfully, down the stretch. Ole Miss could. Ole Miss could. They're a legit team. They beat who? LSU beat them. Ole Miss's only loss. I don't even know who Ole Miss lost to. Who did Ole Miss lose to? LSU. LSU beat them. Yes, LSU beat them. That is correct. Man, I forgot. So LSU beat Ole Miss. That's kind of tough. So if everybody else would just win out, if LSU wins out, they're in the SEC title game. If Ole Miss wins out, well, they'll just take second place. and that means Bama would drop a third game, but if Bama wins out, it means Ole Miss drops a game. So we could have 3 10-2 teams in the West. They just all beat each other up. That's just what it is. I'm going to talk about North Carolina for a minute. North Carolina really is the only team that was outside the top 15. I put them at 15. Obviously, they could go up higher. Penn State has 2 losses to 2 teams currently in the top 5. I don't see Penn State. They're not making it. They're not making it up there. Utah and UCLA, I don't see it. Ole Miss, like I said, Ole Miss, if they win out, they would need LSU to lose another game. Ole Miss would need some help. They control their own destiny in the West. Obviously, Ole Miss, if they can beat Alabama, that would be monumental down the road. But they would still need LSU to drop a game. North Carolina has a really good offense. They have one of the best offenses in the country, but their defense, they're a lot like Tennessee. Their defense is just kind of, North Carolina's defense is worse than Tennessee's. But in my opinion, just based off the eye test, North Carolina has a really solid offense. North Carolina, they keep winning. Their only loss was to, I think, Notre Dame was the only team that beat them. Which Notre Dame just beat Clemson, so Notre Dame might be ranked come next week. That's my 15 through 11. Illinois was sitting at 16th. They lost to a really bad Michigan State team, so they're dropping back. They were a 7-1 team. Illinois was actually leading the Big Ten West. So the Big Ten West, I don't know if they're still leading or not, but I know that they were on top. It was looking like it might be Ohio State, Illinois Big Ten Championship, which would be an absolute mind number to watch. But I like North Carolina. I would like North Carolina to make some noise. I really would. But there's a bunch of good teams ahead of them. So coming at number 10, this is just what I think the top 10 should be. Just based off what's happened this year. Most teams are 9 games in. Some are 8 games. Some are 7. But this is just based off what I've seen this year. Number 10, I got now my 9 and 10. I'm actually gonna flip them. I don't know why I put it like this. Number 10, I'm gonna go with Clemson. I had Alabama written down, but I'm going to flip them because Clemson had the worst loss. I think I had Alabama 10 because this is their second loss. You know what? I'm going to leave it. Alabama 10. Yep, that's why. Because I kept thinking Clemson had the worst loss. Notre Dame's not a great team. Alabama's lost to 2 top 10 teams. So Alabama has no ranked wins except for Texas. So I'm going to keep it. Alabama 10, 9 Clemson. I still believe these 2 teams are top 10 teams. Alabama has had some close games. They dodged a loss at Texas. They dodged a loss at Texas A&M. They did get beat by Tennessee in a thriller, and they got beat by LSU tonight. Alabama had a bunch of games last year like this. Alabama could have been a 7-5 team last year. They really could have. If you go back and watch every single one of them games, Alabama could have been a 7-5 team. But Alabama does what you do best. They got the best college football coach of all time, Nick Saban. They find a way to win. They couldn't tonight. 10 Alabama, 9 Clemson. I'm going to go with USC at 8. Just move them up 1. USC is still playing California, but they're up 27-7. Even if they win by a point or 30 points, they're just going to move up the chain. USC to 8, 7 Oregon, 6 LSU, 5 Tennessee. I think Tennessee, they only lost by 14 points. So I got Tennessee at 5, LSU at 6, 4 TCU, 3 Ohio State, 2 Michigan, 1 Georgia. You can make the case for TCU at 2. I think that case can be made. TCU is a legit team. That's a legit team. Michigan at 2. For me to compare Michigan and Ohio State, Ohio State's win today was a very sloppy, and it was not a great win. Yes, the weather was pretty bad, but still, there's ways to play in conditions like that. And it took Ohio State till the fourth quarter to figure that out. But Northwestern, they're in the same game. So Northwestern's a terrible team. I feel like even if this game didn't have the bad weather, I think it could have been a similar situation. Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, TCU. I believe those will be the four teams ranked in the top four. The order can be moved around. I do not think Tennessee stays in the top four. I think they drop out. Does Alabama and Clemson drop out of the top 10? That is possible. Alabama could drop out of the top 10. Ole Miss could get in the top 10. Bama could be at 11 or 12. They could drop them, but you go back to that last loss to Tennessee, they only dropped them 3 points. Now, I'm dropping them, they only dropped them 3 spots. I'm dropping them 4 spots in mine. I'm dropping Clemson 5 spots. Now, Clemson had the worst loss, but this is their first loss. So you can mix and match them around. I expect Clemson and Alabama to drop 4 or 5 spots each. They were 4 and 6, so I expect Tennessee to drop to 5 or 6. I think Tennessee's going to be at 5. I think LSU's going to be 6. Oregon, you can make the case for Oregon over LSU. Oregon's only loss was a blowout loss to Georgia. I think you can make the assumption or the overall prediction for that. I think you can make it. I think it's pretty clear Georgia's going to be 1. I think that's the only thing that's clear about the list is Georgia's going to be at 1. 2 through 10, that you can just put in whatever order you want to. But Alabama, will they be in the top 10? I don't know. But Alabama really has one tough test left. That's Ole Miss. After that, they got a cupcake game, and then they got Auburn. Auburn's not a great team. So if Alabama wins against Ole Miss, they will probably win out and go 10-2. But if Ole Miss can make some noise and give them that third loss, that would be pretty interesting. That's what I think. You can mix and match. You can keep Ohio State at 2. Georgia was put at 3, probably because of the Missouri game. So, I don't know. That's just what I was going off of. For putting Ohio State at 3. Michigan 2. Also, I was comparing their wins. It's still Michigan has the better wins. Their non-con schedule isn't great. Ohio State does have a win over Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a win over Clemson now. But Notre Dame also lost to Stanford and Marshall. So, yep, that's the top 10 and the top 5. Is there any teams outside the top 10 of my top 10 that can make it? Obviously, Ole Miss, I think UCLA, and North Carolina. Those are teams that can, but I think Ole Miss would have the more legit shot. If Ole Miss can win out and go 11-1, that would be beating Bama and the remaining, I think, Mississippi State and somebody else. Ole Miss go 11-1, and if they were to beat if they were to beat Georgia or whoever played for the East, I think Ole Miss gets in the playoff. That's just how it is. So it's set up right now where 12-0 Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State. I personally think Michigan's going to win. So I'm going to go with Michigan, I'm going to go Ohio State, 11-1. TCU, I think TCU wins out. I think Tennessee's going 11-1. Let's see. So, right now what I did is I wrote all the records of the teams and how I think they're going to finish the regular season. Georgia 12-0, Michigan 12-0, Ohio State 11-1. I think Michigan's going to beat Ohio State. Obviously, that Michigan-Ohio State game is going to have some major implications because both these teams are highly ranked. And this is how it was last year, but the thing is, Ohio State already had the loss to Oregon last year, and that gave them their second loss, and that's really what kicked them out. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if Georgia goes 13-0, beats LSU for an SEC championship, or beats whoever plays for the West, because right now LSU's got the nod. Right now they're ahead. So Georgia goes 13-0, they're in. Let's say Michigan goes 13-0. They beat Ohio State and they play whoever from the Big Ten West. Michigan goes 13-0, they're in. TCU goes 13-0, win the Big 12, they're in. So you got Georgia. So you got Georgia at 13-0 win, Michigan 13-0 win, TCU 13-0. So who would be the fourth team? If that's just that case scenario, who would be the fourth team? Ohio State would be sitting at 11-1. Tennessee is sitting at 11-1. LSU would be sitting at a 10-3 record with a loss. So LSU would be done. Ohio State 11-1. So you would have Georgia up, Michigan, TCU, and really it comes down to, and this is what I've been telling people, I think this is the year a Pac-12 team makes the playoff. Oregon is sitting at, I have Oregon going 11-1. Oregon wins the Pac-12. I think they're in. USC currently is fourth in the Pac-12 in the standings. USC, I have them going 12-0. They don't play Oregon in the regular season. Oregon might not have to play them. And that's what it is. But now with Clemson losing, I think the ACC don't get in this year. Now, like I said, North Carolina, if they can go 11-1, that would be huge. But like this is just if everybody would win out that's currently on top. Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Oregon. In that order, I would say that order. So Georgia would play Oregon in a bowl game, and Michigan and TCU would play. And I believe your national championship would be Georgia and TCU. That would be the national championship game. Would be Georgia and TCU. I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that. I'm gonna take them off. I'm hurting my eyes a little bit. My little copious notes here. Yeah. So that's a scenario, man. That's a scenario. We all gotta let's just talk about. Let's just face the music here. Georgia 12-0. Michigan 12-0. You got TCU 12-0. All right. I'm going to go with Oregon. So pretty much what I think. I'm going to go. Let's see here. What am I thinking here? Eight. Dang, it's hard to tell. So Georgia 1 at 13-0, Michigan 2 at 13-0, TCU 3 at 13-0, and Oregon 4 at 12-1. That is the conference championship records that could. That is if everybody wins out ahead. And I have Ohio State and Tennessee, the first two out. And frankly, Ohio State Tennessee would be a very exciting game to watch. I think. I think that would be. I think it's a game everybody wants. Obviously, they want Ohio State in the playoff. If Ohio State wins out, put Michigan in that spot. So you just flip them. Flip Michigan and Ohio State. Tennessee, I got them at 6. I got USC at 7, 8. You can have Clemson at 8, or Ole Miss. You know, just wherever, however they finish out. So, obviously, take it 1 week by week. There's still 3 weeks left, 4 weeks, including conference championship. So, just gotta win out. You know, anything can happen. Georgia could lose to Mississippi State. Michigan could lose to, a couple games. TCU could lose. Oregon could lose. But we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Peace.